And hello, everybody. I hope you see me. I hope you hear me. And please plus in chat if you hear me and if you see me well. Thank you. And give me a second. I will share with you my slides. Yeah, I hope you see my screen with slides. And hello again. Firstly, I want to say a little disclaimer about this lecture. Um, Firstly, I wanted to make some workshop about this model, about TypeScript and Angular Basic, but I haven't enough time for it, and so sorry. But I didn't want to make just simple lecture, and I have for this some reasons. First reasons because, for example, TypeScript is big term, and a lot of things I can't a long time say about TypeScript, but not all of it is interesting and useful. Yes. Next reason, we have for it just an hour, and after TypeScript need to discuss about some basic things of Angular. Yeah, and my view of all it, I want firstly discuss with you, and yeah, I open for your questions. Write it on YouTube, on Discord. We have a special chat for it. Yeah, and in end of this webinar, I try to get answer for your questions, and these questions can be not only about this webinar, it can be about maybe some problem with coding task, maybe some different problem with our course. I open for your questions. Yeah. What else? What else? About TypeScript. TypeScript, it's again, I say it's big team. TypeScript has a lot of features, but need to understand for starting work with TypeScript with Angular, don't need know all TypeScript. I think enough 20 or 30% of TypeScript. What I mean, for example, if you want write some simple application on Angular, you need just write simple types. For example, types for arguments, types for value what you return from some methods or function, and for makes some custom types. I think enough just use interface. And what I want to say about TypeScript, I just want to say why TypeScript is interesting tool and how TypeScript can help you. Yeah. Firstly, what is TypeScript? TypeScript is JavaScript with syntax of types. When you see code on TypeScript, I think you understand it if you know JavaScript. Just we add some types. Yeah, how I said before, for arguments of method or function, for returns, for some variables. Yeah. Next, TypeScript is tool, and it's important to understand. I know a lot of people hate TypeScript, but I need to understand TypeScript is just a tool. What can help you, and main reason for using TypeScript, I think it's scaling. You can easier scale your JavaScript application with TypeScript. TypeScript is your friend because make code easier to read and understand. Yeah, for this reason, I had in next slide some explanation about it, why I think so. Next, TypeScripts help avoid bugs, thanks to type checking in the code. When you just write code, you can see your some typo, maybe some problem before you run your code, because all people now use IDE, and IDE before running your code is analyze. And when you use TypeScript, it's more easier to check your code and analyze and show some mistakes in your code. TypeScript help to work with all paradigms because we have some interface what really often use in all paradigm on some different languages, and abstract classes. Also, we have some modificator. For example, I really like use modificator in classes. I mean some private, public, and other modificator what we have in TypeScript and what we use in classes. And last one, TypeScript has contextual typing. TypeScript try to help you. What I mean, when you have some variable and, for example, didn't write type for this variable, but you write this variable is const, and by default you write this variable has some string, and we in this case has some typing from context. And how can we see it? I hope you see my idea, and before this lecture I make some new application in Angular, yeah, with some base structure. And just if we open some, for example, all component is, yeah, when we have some property of this class, yeah, look, my IDE show me what type of this title is string, because I have some context types. Yeah, I didn't wrote it, but we have. Okay, next. Why I think easier to read TypeScript? Because sometimes, oh, so sorry. Okay, easier to read. Sometimes we had really bad code, yeah, with really bad namings, but types can help me, but can help for us, because if it's just JavaScript, we don't know what types, and we just have some variables I and list, and we don't know what is. But if we write some types, we more understand can. Oh, okay. Understand what I, it's number, list, it's array with strings. Yeah, and we return string from this function. And one of option for work with array, it's generic. Generic, it's useful when you want make some function, and for example, this function work with array, but we don't know what types inside array we have, but we understand what this time in array, this type we return from the function. Yeah, and I mean, yes, on these examples, we more understand what we return, what types and what is can be. And a little bit about statistic of TypeScript. Yeah, TypeScript is everywhere, and languages what compile to JavaScript. TypeScript it's like one options, and different options it's haven't some well statistic. Yeah. And next slide. How do you divide your time between writing JavaScript and TypeScript code? And most people now write on TypeScript. And it's not only about Angular, because we have TypeScript by default in Angular. It's about React too. Most of project with React now has TypeScript. Yeah. And about TypeScript, I think some basic things better read uh, in documentation. Also, you can see some video what we add to our self study materials. Yeah, and I think from my side, I don't well to explain these things and better read documentation. But but I want to okay, yeah, to show some basic things about interface. Oh, you don't see well, yeah? My idea how I can make it zoom better. Settings. Mhm. No, so sorry. Oh, I don't know how make zoom better in IDE. Okay, I don't try to show some examples in IDE because yeah, zoom is bad. Yeah. Mhm. Shift plus. It didn't work. Yeah. Yeah, so sorry. It's WebStorm and it has some problem with zooming. Plus I tried to following React. No. Yeah. Okay. Without some explanation on TypeScript. So sorry. Um, Next. Please, if you have some question about TypeScript, write it and I try to get answer for it because we haven't enough time for it. Yeah, I know in VS Code it's work, but in WebStorm it's don't work. Yeah. Okay. Next, about is Angular. What is Angular? Angular is development platform built on TypeScript. Yeah. How I said before, uh, TypeScript is by default from second version of Angular. I know some people who work now on first version of Angular, and first version, maybe you know, it's Angular JS, where you will have just JS, and it's really painful for work with first version of Angular. Yeah. Next, Angular is framework for building scalable web application. Yeah, I think like TypeScript, Angular more useful for big application, for application when you want uh, scale and scale and scale. Yeah. Angular includes libraries like routing, forms, and more. Yeah. Angular inside has a lot of useful tools. For example, forms. Before I just started to learn Angular, I didn't know about forms and about how work with forms, and I just wrote some methods for checking and validate and make like custom validator like on Vanilla.js. Yes, and mm, it's hard. And after when I understand how work forms, how easier can validate some property from input, and how easy I can show it for user. Uh, I, better. Oh, okay. I try some last to make Control S. Editor, font, size 16 more, 21, oh, 21, for example. Apply. Okay. And why not? Mm-hmm. I don't know why, uh, but it's didn't work. I don't know why it's size fonts is didn't change. Maybe need reopen. I try reopen. No, nothing change with fonts. Maybe just use VS Code. Maybe let's try use VS Code. A long time I didn't use it, but why not? Now try to do it. Oh, oh, oh. But I don't know. Show VS Code some context typing, but okay. Mm, select. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Here it's work. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now we closed it. Next important things about Angular, it's RxJS. RxJS, it's one of your future model of learning. And when I just started learn Angular, I think Angular is just about OOP paradigm and about using just classes. But main part of Angular, it's React.js. It's reactive programming, and it's interesting. When we use Angular, we work in OOP paradigm, and also we use reactive programming. Yeah. And next, I think one of important things it's how learn. I know some you you maybe see it before, but I think it's really important. 70-20-10 model, it's a model what I prefer to learn something. From this model, need to understand what is practice, its main part of learning. And you need 70% of your time learning, try coding. 20% of your time need to collaborate with some students, with some mentors, and just 10% of your time need to learn some materials. Yeah. And now when I say you about TypeScript, firstly, a little read about TypeScript. Don't need to read all documentation about all features of TypeScript. Just some basic things like basic types, interface, and how this interface use. Yeah. After it, try to make some simple application, and step by step, when you write your code, sometimes look in documentation what you need in this documentation. You don't need first time use some utility types, maybe enums. You can without this type, with some special type, write simple application. Yeah. And again, I said main part of your learning must be writing code. Yeah. And now, yeah, just need start. Let's get started. If you haven't experienced work with Angular, I think you haven't CLI on your computer. And for you need install global install Angular CLI. Shortly about Angular CLI. Angular CLI it's a useful tool for comfortable working with Angular. Yeah, and after you install Angular CLI, you can create your application. I did it before you, before this lecture, and I don't know I had some information. No. Okay. What you need after command ng new menu application? Just we'll choose one option. It's add routing, because in your coding class you will write SPA application, and you of course need routing. And second, what do you prefer for styling? It's just simple CSS or maybe SCSS? And from our course, we recommend use SCSS, because SCSS looks like simple CSS and has some useful thing from this framework. What simple CSS haven't. Yeah. And now, yeah, we can open this application in terminal. I didn't remember how open terminal in VS Code, but give me a second, please. Oh, okay. Okay. I created. Yeah, Angular. Yeah. And now, one things what need it's second start. Just write command and just serve. Oh, so sorry. Server. Yeah. Okay. Maybe Git bash better because I think. Yes, of course, Git bash better than PowerShell. Yes, and now our application start running. And what we have next slide. Yeah, next slide we have some main NGCLI comments. What I think, and bottom of this slide we have some links. I think it's links useful. Second link, it's just documentation from Angular, and first it's cheat sheets. So, and from these cheat sheets, this two table with some main commands and main blueprints. For example, most often what I use, it's for example, ng generate component, and I write just ng gc and name of this component. Yeah. For example, yeah, our application start work. Where is a link to localhost? Yeah, here we have link to localhost, and give me a second. Yeah, and this yeah, this page of our application with links to useful things like Learn Angular, CLI documentation, and all these templates from our main components. It's a component HTML. Yeah, here's some information of this, but it's not so interesting. Let's just use some simple command with ngCLI. What I said before, some simple command what like ng generate component like new for example. Yeah, what interesting. When we create components from our CLI, we had folder with all files what need for our components. It's HTML for our templates, CSS for styling, spec.ts, it's unit test we also have, and main file, it's our TS file with some logic of our components. Also, what interesting, how we see app models are updated is why? Because in declarations we have new component. Really important to declare your components to model. Yeah, and it's one of simple command, but I think it's really useful. Also, you can generate, for example, some services. It's also easy. Yeah. Okay. And next. Mhm. Next, introduction to Angular concepts. Angular concepts includes some useful some things what we have inside our Angular, and first and main things what we have inside Angular, it's models. And need to remind, it's not just models like ECMAScript 2015 because it's different models, it's NG models. But all our application, it's some models. And like on this simple application, we have app model, and its model are root model. From this model, we will have some child models, and it's will be looks like a tree. Next important things in Angular, it's components in directives. Components in directive a little bit similar because we work with our view of our application. But maybe first difference between component has some templates, some templates, and directive hasn't has not some templates, but can modificate some template. For example, most often directives what you will use it's ngIf. Maybe you know ngIf can show or don't show some part of your component. Yeah, and ngIf it's directive what ngIf having some templates but can change view. Next important thing is services and dependency injections. In Angular, one of things what we like separate. We like separate logic, we like separate files and models, and really often in my project, for example, we try all business logic right inside services. And inside components, we try don't write some logics. And first of all, business logic. It's not best idea to write some business logic inside component file. More well, write business logic inside services. Services we use for some different situation. For example, we have some services for working with request. For example, it can be API service. For some business logic, how I said before, for example, converting data. For example, really often we had from response some object, and this object need modificate, need convert to a more comfortable form for using in our application. And one of important things what we have in Angular is routing. Maybe you know, if you try to learn React, in React we haven't by default routing inside. Yes, so React has some routing like library, but this library not is by default when you install your React application. But in Angular, we have routing by default. And this is structure. This is structure how this main part of Angular work. Yeah, I understand you. Maybe first time it's hard to understand, but I try to explain it. Template, it's, for example, our HTML. Yeah, and and this HTML makes some view of our application. Components, it's mean some, for example, TypeScript file what we have in component, and from components need to add some information to our template. For it, we have some property binding, and this role a little bit wrong because we have inside Angular two-way binding, and with binding we can not just add to template information and from template information into components. But most classic method it's event for get some information from template. It's can be something simple events like click maybe or some input events. Yeah, and how I said before, we have some directive what can change our templates, our view from some metadata what we can have, like ngIf. And some services. Some services can have some business logic, and with some injector, maybe you know, for injecting our service inside components, it's need to write to our constructor. Yeah, and when we write it inside constructor of our components, we inject our services inside this component. Yeah, and yeah, it's what main things what we have in Angular. And one of last things what I want to explain for you, it's lifecycle hooks. We have 8 lifecycle hooks, but I think don't need understand all of it firstly. Need to understand just more what we will often use and start. First, it's ng on changes. What it means? We have some components, and this component has some cycle of life. Yeah, and first cycle it's ng on changes, and the method called it first, and whenever on input property change. Yeah, for example, we have some input inside our components, and when it's component in on some creating these components change it, we this method are triggered, are called. Next, it's ng init. I think ng init it's one of main useful lifecycle hook, and it integrates the directive components after first displaying the data bound property and call it just once after the first ng on changes. For example, I use ng on init on my project for calling some fetching method. What I mean, when we just init our some component, sometimes need some request for some additional information. And I write call of fetching method inside this ng on init. Next method, I think don't need now understand because not often we use it. But next useful lifecycle hook, it's ng after view init. Why it's important? Respond after initialization the components view and child view. It means when we have some child component inside our main components, this method are called once after our child view is initialized, and it's useful for when your components has some child components. And after you checked, it's not so useful, but ng on destroy is really useful lifecycle hook. It call it when you or Angular destroyed your application, and it's useful, for example, when you need to reset your state. For example, after destroying your component. Yeah. Also, really often use ng on destroy for unsubscribing because unsubscribing in Angular is a really important thing. And when you will learn XJS, I think you understand why. And it's all from my side what I want to explain. And now we have 20 minutes for QA session. And firstly, I try to read questions. Okay. Could you please tell VB distribution about distribution of mentors? Tomorrow on Friday, we with Natalia and our mentors discuss it and try to distribute it tomorrow. We had some list of students who write in our channel. We have a list of students who graduated main course and some rating of these students. And firstly, we try to distribute mentors for people who write to our channel in the for top rating of previous main course. Yeah, it's main reason. And yeah, we will do it tomorrow. Skull, please zoom. So sorry, yeah, it's storm. Okay. On JS, with TypeScript. It will be better if you show stacks about your project on JS with JS and TypeScript. With Angular it's really hard because JS, just JS, how I said before, has only first version of Angular, and I don't know how work with this version. I'm so sorry. In Angular, we have just TypeScript. Next, about Zoom again. Control, please. Concise more. Sorry. Oh, can you please tell us about difference between Angular and React in terms of productivity? Oh, it's interesting question. And I think I yeah, if be clear, I think tell about difference between Angular and React. It's hard because it's really not same things. I mean, if you read about React didn't write about self like about framework, just like about library, because React more flexible. Angular is not so flexible like React, but sometimes Angular try to be flexible. If see some new news about Angular. Yeah, and what else? If say about productivity, again, more necessary who write this application, because I think you can write better application on React and also on Angular too. More important how and who write this application. And I think you can make well application on React, and you can really well application make in Angular. My view, Angular is better for scalable for big application and for when you have some different teams. For example, you have some big application and a lot of teams what work with this application. Because Angular have some frames, yeah, and on React you can write on different styles. Yeah, I hope I get answered well. Do you work on Angular 16? No, I haven't experienced. Uh, my current project, on my current project version of Angular, it's 14. Yeah, we try to update it for next version, but sometimes we have some problems with updating. For example, sometimes we have problem with one of our libraries. Last problem was with MSAL library. It's library from Microsoft, and sometimes Microsoft had some problems from this side. But yeah, we try to update our Angular version to next. Yeah, maybe just okay. Maybe just use VS Code. Yeah. Next question. Isn't property binding is when passed from a template to component? Is not property binding is when passed from. Oh, I can show this. Yeah. Interesting question. How I said before, yes, we have two-way binding, not just from not just from component to template, but it's from template to component. And it's clear, I totally didn't understand this question about property binding is when passed from a template component. Can you maybe explain what you mean? And I try to answer for it, and I just go. Please tell about difference between React and Angular. A lot of difference, a lot different view of front-end framework. How I said before, React said what way just library, Angular said what way frameworks, and Angular has a lot of some tools inside from box, how to say it, and React more flexible, I think. React has a lot of library, but out of yeah, and we have a lot of difference, but I think it's not so necessary. And we haven't like best framework for all situation. How do we know we got a mentor? When we will got A mentor, you see it in your RS app. Yeah. 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 After distributing uh, students to mentors, mentors will see your his students, and students will see mentors and understand who. Next question. If someone will not get a mentor, will such students be able to submit work for review? How I said before on first our webinar, I try to help for the students. For example, I can't be full mentor, but I can try to check task because I understand need checking also need for scoring and for get certificate. And yeah, write to us, write to channel, and we try to help or find some people uh, who can check your tasks. If next question, could you tell us what has to be done in the first coding task? If I remember correctly, in first task, need just make a simple structure of application and make configuration. I mean, need add ASLint, how I understand, and change some rules of TypeScript configuration. Yeah, it, but main it's this documentation for task. Need just do what you see in task documentation, and yeah, I hope I get answer for this. The task says search result list and search item components contain declaration of necessary fields. What is declaration of necessary fields? In the components. Mhm. Uh, you need just make structure. And these structures need contain these fields. Yeah, in the components. To upper question, it's about creating interface for JSON of API resource given in the task. Need to do it. This task, give me a second. I need to read this requirement for this task, and I'll try to understand what it means. But So sorry, please sure it's not one. Why I didn't see this question inside this? Uh, so sorry. Can you me write about this search and result list or to this question? The task says search result list and search the kind of components contain declaration of necessary fields. And I try to check it. For it needs some times, and I explain it on our NN's channel if we have some misunderstanding. I mean, variables in the components is available in template already by default. So I draw it when I touch it down property, for example, available in the components. Yeah. Yeah. Please, SVSP and Lifecycle, can you write me it in Discord and I will check it because for it to need time. If a student don't have a mentor, will it be technical possible to submit work roll-up? Yeah, it's possible to submit, and of course need to submit it. Can you check my task, please? I wrote to you in Discord. Yeah, I see it, and I try to find time for it. But who knows, Evgenia, maybe we find for you tomorrow some mentors. If you, I hope maybe we find a mentor for you too. Yeah. Next question: should we import on the interface to components, or should we just create them? Import, it's better. For example, I try to show question about interface. Yeah. How I did it on my project. For example, we have some app folder here. I make some new folder, and name of this folder it's models. Yeah, we have some models. Inside these models, we create some files. Up to you what name of the file. For example, I write type of TS. Yeah. Inside this file, inside this type of file of models, we write some interface. Yeah. First important, of course, write export for exporting this interface. And it's and write from some name for this interface. Yeah. And here you can write some types for this interface. For example, you have some ID and it's string. You have some name, it's string, and you can have some age, for example. Yeah, and it's number. Yeah. And when you want to use it inside your company, for example, or inside your service, yeah, you can write user, yeah, and add this interface. And our idea help to import this, but we have some trouble with typing. Yeah. I hope it's I answered to your question. The necessary fields need to be created on in companies, but in interfaces. Yeah, I mean, yeah. This, yeah. Cool. Thanks. Next. All the necessary models were created. Search result list and search item components contain declaration of necessary fields. Yeah, it's one of our requirements. Which is a better place for an YouTube mock results of JSON. I think assets folder, it's one of possible folder for our JSON, or you can make some new folder, for example, mock folder for just your mockups, for just for your mocks. Check the screenshot on Discord. The link to the dashkins were second, please. This is our first task. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Again. Again. So check the screenshot Discord. It's about all necessary models were created. Search result list and scrums. Again, first task, it's firstly about make structure and make some basic components. And for these requirements, you just need make all components what you after it will use. Of course, it's can contain all fields, but some fields what you need. Next question. When you had answer about necessary fields, you mean maintain structure? You mean HTML templates and interfaces? Not just HTML templates, also and components. I mean task files. And for example, you have some structure. It's not required structure, but structure what we have now. And it's header, search. Yeah, it's what structure, what you can make with structure, but it's not required structure. Again. Should we use our interface in intro task, or we need just describe them? Yeah, just describe, not necessary to use this interface. Just try to make it. Next question. But if we create just empty components for the first task, why should we import the somewhere this stage where it's not clear where we use them yet. Yeah, you're right. Don't need to import them somewhere. Just create it. Just make structure. It's all inside in first task. Yes. Next and last question, what I see. For the first task, we should create components. Can we add templates and styles to them without any services yet? About services, let's look to our first task again. Components, model, search, yeah. Again, excellent. Structure for components and models. Nothing about services, just about components and models. Yeah, yeah, just components and just models if you want. Again, what we use. Yes, so you can just make just empty components, not HTML server, without HTML server. Yes. What need to understand? Just need, do you understand how work with ngCli? How make first application? How change some configuration inside your application? And how just make structure? How just make a component without some actual HTML code, without some logic? Just component and models and some simple structure. But it's all. Hi, do you use tests on client? Do you mean some unit tests or some, what kind of test do you mean? If you mean unit test, yes, we use and sometimes we write it. Last question, do I have to post in the chat room what I'm looking for a mentor if I'm a stage 2 graduated? Yes, if you graduate at stage 2, you have high possibility to will have a mentor and to be try for one of first find mentors for people who graduate at stage 2. Would the folder in the repository call it YouTube client app or Angular intro, like it's called in RSApp? Better YouTube client app because Angular intro is just first part of all our application. Yeah, not all. In the first task, we need to store only for main page. Yes, just structure. What about HTML and styles? Better to create these files, but don't need to write some code inside this HTML and styles in first task. Again, about structure. Better to try make a structure for all application. But for just main, it's enough. About pull request, need to read documentation of RSCO on in RSApp. You can find documentation and read how to create PR to main branch.
But do I need to write what I'm looking for in mentor, like confirm what I need one? Yes, need to write what you are looking for a mentor, because for us really important understand how much active students do we have, because some students register on Angular course and on React too, or some students register and now something changed and we don't want to learn, for example. And for us, important understand who want learn and for what people need mentors. Someone maybe just won't learn without mentor, just try make some task and it's all. Yeah, Lifecycle, thank you for answering for you, yes. But yeah. And now I look to Discord. This streaming. Okay, on the streaming we haven't questions how I see, just something for me. Uh, Next time I try to find presentation mode inside my web store, and I hope it will be better. Um, and last question, you'll have just one folder in repository for all tasks related to the YouTube file, or different folders do we have make a pull request? Yeah, just one folder is enough because we write just one application. If you mean like on main course, I mean stage 2, for example, you had a lot of some different application, and it's one reason why you had some different folders for some different application. Now, for during the course, we before final task we had just one application, and one folder it's enough for in repository. Yeah, and I hope it's all. And yeah, yeah. Thank you for all. I hope I helped for you. And okay, last question. Is it responsibility to make pull request if the whole app is not ready? Yes, it's responsible after some feature by feature for all tasks need some pull request. This pull request important for checking from your mentor, because you open your pull request with some requirements, yeah, and inside the pull request, like need you can read about in our documentation how make this pull request, and this pull request help to your mentor to check your task. For example, maybe not full task you will do before deadline, and need to write what requirements you will do and what not will do. And one of important things it's self-checking. I mean about scoring, you write what scoring you will have, how much scoring you will have from this task. How you think? Yeah. Oh, and it's all from my side. Thank you all. It's was hard for me. Thank you for my. So sorry for my poor English, but I hoped I helped you.
Thank you. Goodbye. And if you have some question, write to Discord and I try to help you. I mean, write to our channel for questions. Thank you and goodbye.